Hi, Matadors. It's your principal, Julie Parks, and I'd like to take a few moments to go over our schedule for distance learning. Now, full disclosure, all of this is still in development and negotiations are still actively happening. However, I believe this schedule is very close to or exactly the product that we will end up on when we begin school on August 11th, coming up very soon. Many of you received this schedule from Dr. Nickerson's email last week, but it's a little confusing when you first look at it. So I'm going to take some time to go through each of the days of the schedule to bring a little bit of clarity to what you can expect when we begin distance learning in the next couple weeks. So here we go. The first thing that you might notice is that there are 2 Mondays on the schedule. No, this is not some cruel joke on distance learning. We have not extended the pain of Monday into 2 days. But the 2 Mondays on the schedule do represent that Mondays will look different for our staff versus our students. So I'm going to go ahead and start there. Our regular Mondays on our traditional schedule at Miramani High School look like an anchor day. Students traditionally go to each and every one of their classes. And one thing that you might notice about the student schedule here on Mondays is that all the classes are represented. We're trying to replicate our regular schedule as much as possible while we're at home. Another thing that you might notice on this schedule is that there is red print that says asynchronous instruction underneath it for the students. To refresh our memories, asynchronous instruction means instruction that can be completed independently by students. Most of the work that students will be doing on Monday will happen asynchronously. They will be doing this work independently. Some of you may have watched the recent screencast that I sent out last week to explain the California guidelines for our public schools. One of our requirements is that we are checking in with students live daily and that we are taking daily attendance. In order to meet this expectation by the state, we've put Virtual Cohort Academy into our schedule on Mondays. Now, this Virtual Cohort Academy begins at 9 o'clock and ends at 9:45. During this time, students will be checked into what will function a lot like a homeroom. They'll be checking into a Zoom room of a teacher who they will stay with through the entire year during virtual cohort academies. They will be required to check in during this time and attendance will be taken. If a student is sick or has another reason why he or she can't be in class, the same attendance policies apply. The student's parent will have to call into our attendance office to excuse the student from class. Otherwise, we'll be expecting our students there and taking attendance live within that session. So on Mondays, students will be going to their virtual cohort academy at 9 o'clock in the morning. They'll be meeting from 9 to 9:45 with their teacher. During this time, the teacher will connect with the kids, check in with them, provide some case management with regards to how they're doing on distance learning. This will also be a time where we will use this built-in structured period to be able to roll out some of our other initiatives with students, including racial equity work, which we'll be doing at Miramani High School throughout the year, wellness support, and also college and career support. So we'll be using this time to really connect with our kids and also do some essentials that will help our school be a more welcoming and safe place for our kids. At 9:45, students will sign out of their virtual academy and they will spend the rest of their day doing their independent asynchronous work. Now, the schedule we've provided for you has the periods broken up in these 40-minute chunks. To be clear, students may not be following this exact schedule throughout the day, but what they can expect to do independently is approximately 40 minutes of work in each of their scheduled classes on Mondays. The reason for this is that we have a requirement to meet minimum instructional minutes by the state. And so in order to account for these minutes, our teachers will be building independent asynchronous modules that will take students approximately 40 minutes to complete on Mondays. Students will work through that work independently throughout the day. Now, while students are working, our teachers are going to be working too. We'll have some meeting time in the morning where we'll get together as a staff and do our collaboration in our course-alike teams to make sure that we're really calibrating our curriculum and content. In the afternoons, teachers will engage in professional development. They may open Zoom rooms for office hours so that students can drop in. And this may also be an opportunity for teachers to offer some different clubs or other types of groups for students to join into. So that's what Monday looks like. If you look forward into the rest of the week, you'll see that Tuesday and Thursday look a lot like normal Tuesdays and Thursdays during our regular schedule. Students will be going to blocks 1, 2, 3, and 7. And when I say going to those blocks, I actually mean attending them, because we'll be taking attendance in each of those blocks on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Teachers are going to be required to offer a certain amount of synchronous time during those blocks. And students are expected for each of them to come into the class over the Zoom link and to check in for mandatory attendance. On Wednesdays and Fridays, again, these days look a lot like our regular schedule with just a small shift in the timing. Students will be going to periods 4, 5, and 6. They will be checking into those classes, receiving synchronous instruction, and attendance will be taken. During the virtual academies, students will get to have academy like they normally do. They'll be able to choose the different class session that they go into to get extra help from their teachers. This preserves this really important part of our schedule that kids have come to really love, the ability for them to make choices about where they go. The catch is, this is also required. This is instructional time throughout the day. And just like we take attendance during regular academy while we are in traditional school, we'll be taking attendance during the virtual academy as well. 0 periods will be offered on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That just pertains to our jazz band students, and they should expect some more communication coming up from their teacher as we get closer to the school year to clarify those expectations. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of clarity around what to expect. Major things to remember are that we have a virtual cohort academy to really do case management and specialized sessions for our kids. Kids will be staying with the same teacher throughout the year, so that teacher will really get to know that group of students. 2, on Mondays, students will be engaged in asynchronous learning, independently working through modules that their teachers put up on our new learning management system, Canvas. 3, during the rest of the block days, students should expect to sign on to each of their classes during the scheduled time. There will be attendance taken, and attendance is mandatory unless it is an excused absence for the student. And lastly, students will have virtual academy time to go to classes of their choice during Wednesdays and Fridays to get extra help. I hope this was helpful and clarifying, and you have a great day, and go Mets!